I'm really excited about today's presentation and this entire series. We have Bruce Himmelblau, who is the producer and content marketing strategist at Blue Sky Video Productions. And Bruce has presented on content and video marketing at local and national conferences. Blue Sky has worked with businesses to create strategies to increase awareness, build traffic, and generate leads. And this is a three-part series where we will explore the social media platforms of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn using video marketing to give you an overview of how your business can use them to grow your business. So without further ado, let's all welcome Bruce.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I think this is what, about 5 years in the making. We've been talking for that long. So, and you need to be on my show soon too, as well, so I can share
It's a date. I will. Thank you, Bruce, for that invitation. I appreciate
So there's a couple of people here I know, so I will pick on you because I know who you are and what you're doing. And those who I don't know, I won't pick on as much, but I'll try. Again, if there's any questions, you can put them in the chat. There will be actually, at least for half of this program, time for Q&A, so you can actually speak up and ask questions there. Again, my background is mostly in video production, and what I think makes us a little bit different from other video production companies is that we engage with social media and help our clients do so as well. If you noticed out there that a lot of these platforms are adding video to their offerings. First was Facebook and Instagram, and definitely there's, I guess, going way back is YouTube. But also Twitter has a live feature, and LinkedIn, if you can get past their, I guess, criterias, you can actually go live on LinkedIn as well. And we'll be discussing those in the future. So today we're mostly talking about Instagram and Facebook because they're tied together. Facebook bought Instagram for what, $1 billion a few years ago, and has launched them since then. I'm not sure if anybody caught the Senate hearings yesterday, or it was a Congress hearings yesterday with Facebook and Google, let's see, Apple and Amazon. And that was really interesting hearing what they were doing. So they were talking about search and discovery, and we'll go into that as well. So I guess I will start with my slide presentation. I'm actually doing it from my phone so that we can actually integrate some actual Instagram, because Instagram is primarily a mobile-based platform where Facebook is both mobile and desktop. There are some aspects of Instagram that are available through desktop, but most of your posting and interaction is going to be on mobile. So the key is to have your updates. Instagram always comes out with quick updates, and I'm not sure why I'm not, maybe it's just because I guess my screen, it shows Mike, but that's okay. If your screen still shows me, that's fine. So let me show my screen. So we go into, I guess, share screen here, technology. So, and then this is also something interesting, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit later during LinkedIn, is that you can actually share other things besides just your screen. You can actually share your phone, which I find interesting. So here's a presentation on Instagram and Facebook, and these are the other platforms that I'm active on. I guess one thing that's not up there is TikTok, but that's for another discussion. And here's a little bit more on my background. I've done corporate communications, web videos, podcasts. I've worked on some films and worked on behind the scenes of those films. And then we've actually produced and worked on a couple TV shows that have actually aired locally. Windy City Memories came on after the Golden Globes, and My Word is My Bond was a PBS special. So again, as Jenny mentioned, this is a three-part series. Part 1 is on Facebook and Instagram, part 2 is on YouTube, and part 3 is on LinkedIn. And so this is what we're going to be covering today. is Facebook and Instagram, the difference between a personal page or personal profile and a business page. What is the difference between a post and a story? What are hashtags and how to use them for search and discovery? Video content, which is what you came here for, and using analytics to improve your content, because the saying goes, what gets measured gets done. And so if you want to share this out, this is a sharing platform. We are actually on every single platform there is as BSVP TV. And that's also important for your social media, is to be consistent across all social media. Try not to be like Blue Sky Video on one channel and Blue Sky Video Productions on another platform and BSVP TV on another platform, because then when you're cross sharing, saying, okay, well, if you found me here on Instagram, go check out my YouTube channel, and then you got to figure out what my YouTube channel is. So by having the same name across all your platforms is really, really important. And then if you want to use a hashtag, YouTube strategist and HP chamber as well. And that way, when you go to search for these content later on, you can actually find it. And so whenever you're in an HP chamber event, hashtag it HP chamber. And then if you actually use YouTube strategist, we're trying to corner that platform or that hashtag. You cannot actually claim a specific hashtag, but if no one else is using it, go for it. So again, starting off with personal profile versus business page. So with a personal profile, only one person has access to that channel or to that profile. Unless, of course, you're like my parents, who only had one Facebook profile between the two of them, and they just kind of both posted to that. So to do that, you would need to share your password and your username. And most people, if you're individual, especially if you're a working individual, you want to claim your own personal profile. And then to create a business page, you must have a personal profile. And then that must be linked to one person. And then whenever you post to either one or the other, they do not automatically cross-pollinate. So if you post something on your business page, it does not automatically go to your personal page. There are advantages of doing that though, because most likely you have a personal following, your friends, and you want to share something from your business page to them, then you can go into your business page as if you were anyone else sharing anything else from anybody else's business page to your own. And again, only one person can manage a personal profile. And with a business page, you can actually have multiple managers, administrators, editors, moderators. So one of the things that we are doing is sharing content, especially if we're doing collaborations with another company and we're creating content with them, then we can get access to their page through my personal page. So I don't need their password and their username to get into their business page. And also this is with groups as well, and we'll talk about groups for a second in the future during this presentation. But if you want to go live in a video, you need to have administrator or editor access, or else you have to go as a personal person. So who can control what you see on a personal profile? You can make it either friends of friends, or everyone can see your content. If that's on your personal profile. On your business page, you only can go public. There's no private content on your business page because Facebook basically says if you post it, everyone should be able to share it. And actually, if you go through your privacy settings on your personal profile, the default is usually everyone. So you need to check out your default privacy settings on Facebook. And then once you set up your business page, you want to make sure when you're sharing your post and posting that your comments, your articles, your videos, etc., are on the correct account. So before you post, you'll actually see in the little area for write a comment. On a personal page, your personal profile, it will be write a comment. But if you look at your business page, it'll be comment as your business page name. So if you look at that closely before you post, because the last thing you want to do is post like, here's my my dog throwing up, and then accidentally posting it to your business page. And the way to get to either one or the other is when you click on that comment section, there's a little drop down menu, see where it says most relevant. To the right of that most relevant words are that little toggle switch. If you toggle down, then you can actually toggle between your business page and your personal profile. So make sure that you're on the right one. And how do you connect with people? Well, through your personal profile, you connect through friend request. And you can send out friend requests, and you can actually contact other people and interact with other people through messaging and other things, even though you may not be friends. With a business page, you connect through likes and follows. So you ask people to like or follow your page. And you cannot tag a person who is not following your business page from your business page. So let's say you do an interview or interact with someone on your business page and you want to tag them. Unless they are following your page, you cannot tag them. But you can also, as opposed to a friend request on your personal profile, you can send out invites. One thing I did discover though, is you cannot unsend an invite. So I've sent out some invites to some people, and they've since dropped off of Facebook and dropped off of social media, that unless they close out their account entirely, that invite's still out there. And so here's the difference between mobile. Again, with your Facebook profiles and business page, you are accessing them through your mobile device. You would need 3 apps. These are the top 3 are from Apple, the bottom 3 are from Androids. And so you just go to the Play Store and download the Facebook app, the Messenger app, and the Facebook Manager app. And they used to be all combined into one, but they have since cut them into 3 separate areas, and which actually gives you a little bit more control over what you do and how you post. So if you want to add, if you only had the Facebook app, check into the Messenger app and the Facebook Manager app. So here, posting, what to post, why to post. So again, these are the 4 pillars of information, education, entertainment, and promoting. So there is a book out there. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Gary Vaynerchuk. He wrote a book, and actually probably can't see this because I'm still sharing, but if you can't see the screen, it's called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And with that, the content of the significant of Jab, 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 Right Hook is engage, inspire, escape. And then, which is more of an ask situation, create value content. And then after you've gotten them engaged, after you've shared your expertise, then you can do an ask. Ask them to sign up for your newsletter. Ask them to look into your next webinar. So you want to engage with them before you sell. Again, when I first started putting in this presentation, at first I was going to delete that promote and sell. But again, being on social is through ROI. You want to get some feedback, some income from posting. You don't want to just post forever and get 0 ROI. Although there was this one guy who used to manage the Ford social media account named Scott Monty, had a saying that said, what is the ROI of social media? And then he said, well, what is the ROI of not putting your pants on before you go into work? You really don't see any effect if you do it, but if you don't do it, you see a big effect. Although that has really changed in this age of COVID and media and virtual meetings, is you can actually get away doing a meeting without your regular pants on, I should say.
Getting away with it right now.
There you go. having shorts on. I think there was some video out there where some guy was in a meeting and he got up and walked away, and you saw he was just in his underwear, but he hadn't signed off, and all his coworkers were trying to yell at him, like, we can see you in your underwear, and he runs in the other room. So again, the content is important. What you post is important. Your posting schedule is important. You don't want to just post once a year and then forget about it. And again, when you do post, think of these 4 pillars of information, education, entertainment, and promoting. And when you do that, you're establishing yourself as an authority. Here is a gentleman he's written several books on creating distinction. I first met him at a conference maybe like 7 years ago. And over the years, he's followed me, I followed him. And when I started up my weekly stream, I asked him to be a guest on my show. And because we had a connection through social media, he agreed. And when we were talking about his content and how it valued our watchers and listeners. So by creating content, you're creating authority in your area. If people don't know who you are, they don't get to like you or trust you. And again, I talk about groups. Be active in groups. Don't just post your latest promotion. Here's a sale on shoes. Post shareable content. Ask questions. And that's really important in a group, is don't try to be the smartest person in the room, because usually if you are, you're in the wrong room. So if you're the smartest person in your group, you're probably in the wrong group. So try to share with what you know, feed off of what they know. People who ask questions will get more engagement than those who post comments. And so here's Instagram and Facebook. With stories, those are really popular on Instagram, less so on Facebook, although they are getting more popular. And so what Facebook did was they actually added a feature where you can just share your Instagram story to your Facebook profile with a click of a button. Sometimes you may want to do that, sometimes you don't. In most cases, people don't see anything wrong with cross-platform population, although you want to make sure that the content you are posting is pertinent to that platform. So you wouldn't basically be posting a YouTube type video to TikTok, or you wouldn't be posting a LinkedIn comment in a Facebook area. So again, think of the platform you're posting to. And once we finish with the slides, I'll actually show some demos of how to actually use Instagram stories. And hashtags. Hashtags, I think, are one of the most important things you can use, and that people aren't really taking full advantage of. Because what hashtags do is they offer search and discovery. If you're from a searching standpoint, if you're looking for a great restaurant, if you're looking for a great idea, if you're looking for a concept, you can use a hashtag to search for that. So if you're like, again, if we started this program with HP Chamber, if I wanted to see the content about what the HP Chamber is doing, let's say you're holding a block party and people are talking about that block party, if they're using the hashtag HP Chamber, you can actually see a whole list of that content across any platform, whether you're following that person or not. And again, that's how you get discovered. If you're posting content that is pertinent to an event or pertinent to yourself or an activity, by putting in hashtags, those people will can then discover you. So most of my hashtags are, again, YouTube strategist, hashtag video marketing. I can even use hashtag BSVPTV. And then so when they go through their search platform, whether it's branded or non-branded, branded meaning specific to you and your company, non-branded means categorically or industry related, then they can find you. And here are 2 people who I recommend if you're not following on Instagram yet. these are my two favorite people on Instagram. Um, Subi Zimmerman, also known as the Instagram expert, and Sue Monheit, also known as Gift Biz Unwrapped. Um, you can look for both of their profiles, and if you're not following them already, I recommend you following them. Sue offers both Sues offer a lot of real good content that goes way beyond what I'm going to be covering here today. And you can see here, episode 116. So you've got a lot of catching up to if you haven't followed them yet. And again, I mentioned before live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, which is also known as Periscope. You can actually go live on these platforms. And I know some of you are going live on these platforms. The one trick about going live on these platforms is you probably want to stay live for at least 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Because when you're live, people don't actually follow you and catch that the first time you go live. If you go live every day at a specific time, your audience gets to know that you go live. Okay, I'm going live every day at 11 a.m. Central Time. And again, that's something you probably want to share with your audience is, again, you've got an international audience worldwide. You can reach anybody anywhere in the world. And so whenever you do post something on a regular basis, you want to specify that it is Central Time. Because if you say 11 a.m. and then they're in New York, they're going to be there an hour late. Or an hour, actually, they're going to be there an hour early because it's 11 o'clock. So if they're in California, they're going to be there 2 hours late. So again, use Central Time. I've actually gotten to do that more and more because my audience is more nationalized. I got two of my most biggest fans are actually following me from Vancouver, British Columbia. And so they're on the Western time zone, Pacific time zone. So whenever I do post, I make sure that I actually sometimes include the Pacific time for those who are time zone challenged. So, and again, why do video at all? Well, there are 5 million people who watch Facebook videos on a daily basis. And so you get 1% of that. That's a pretty nice audience. And again, mobile is fueling video growth. 71% of consumers can't live without their smartphones or always have it within arm's reach. And again, businesses are using video content more than ever and consuming video content more than ever. So what kind of content do you want to post? Here's one concept: behind the scenes. Show your work, show how you act, your daily process. I know, calling out Scott there, Scott does his behind the scenes a tour of locations in the property market. So again, by sharing what you're doing, gives them a better feel of who you are, what you do. There's one saying that if you can't be authentic, fake it. But again, you want to really be authentic. You want to be yourself. You don't really try to be someone else on camera, because you can't keep that up forever. So again, this is a couple of scenes that we did. We worked on the movie called Man of Steel, and then if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see Henry Cavill and I've forgotten his name. And his father, guy from Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner. That's it. So those are the two characters there, and then the director is also there. And then, so again, something else not everybody can work on a movie behind the scenes, but you also can have an event, your block party. You can document that going live. You can document that in a Facebook post. You can document that. You walk around. I think we've done that with other chambers where we actually went live with video, talking to all the vendors at the event. You can do that as an individual post. You walk up to one vendor and say, "Hi, how you doing?" Actually, I mentioned, talking with Ginny before we went live here, but we were at the joint chamber event with Lake Forest and Highland Park chambers, and we actually went from vendor to vendor and ask them who they are, what they do, and how they can help their customers. And each one of those was an individual post. As your company, you can do that as well. Interview your CEO, interview employees, interview customers, and so on. Which takes me to my next point, interviews. Here we are at the Sundance Film Festival, interviewing some of the filmmakers and directors. Also, not everybody can attend a film festival, but as I mentioned earlier, pull out an influencer, interview them on your Facebook Live. And again, thumbnails are important. One of the most important things about adding to your video content, because people will look at the title, they'll look at the thumbnail, and then they'll decide whether they want to consume that content. So if you just grab a random image from the video or something that's auto-generated from Facebook, it may not be the most flattering, the most engaging image. You can actually go in after the live stream if you click on the edit button and change that thumbnail. You can either upload a custom thumbnail or change a different image from that live stream. And if you want more information on that, feel free to contact me. So again, unboxing, that's a great theme to be working with. If you have a product, if you order products, if you review products, unboxings are really popular. Usually you got to get there early because once you have 5, 10, 50, 100 people doing unboxing, and those no longer gets that immediacy. So if you have a brand new product that you're launching, you may want to do an unboxing of that, or send it to a customer and have them do an unboxing of it. And again, I don't know, behind the scenes is doing it twice. So again, distribution. How are you distributing your content? Every platform has a different specification for how the video appears. If you go natively on those platforms, you don't have to worry about it much. But if you record the content and then share it out, you want to make sure that it is conducive to that platform. So if you're sharing a Instagram story that is actually vertical, so if you record a video on your video camera, edit it, and then post it to Instagram, it's not going to be full screen. It's only going to take up about half of the screen, and it's going to have a lot of black area above and below it. On Facebook, the ideal dimensions are 1 by 1, which is square, which is a nice advantage, is because then you can actually hold your phone vertically or horizontally, and it will still come out 1 by 1. And YouTube and Vimeo, which we'll talk about next week, is horizontal. It's 16 by 9 as opposed to, again, Instagram stories, which is 9 by 16. And yeah, as I mentioned, what gets measured gets done. Take a look at your insights. And this is both the same, both Instagram and Facebook both call them insights as opposed to analytics. And you can, so after you do a post, you can actually click on how you want to measure that analytic. Is it engagement? Is it how many people, how many followers you got? Is it reach? And you can actually, once you click that button, it actually generates a graph to see how well you did. And so here is insights on Facebook. You can actually see who your target audience is. Are you reaching more men than women, more women than men? What is the best time to post? When? Because Facebook knows when people log into the platform, and you have to log into the platform on Facebook to view the content. They know when your audience is there. And again, your videos, that will show you how many viewers you got, how many people watched 3 seconds of it, how many people watched 10 seconds of it, and so on. So if you see that more people watch 3 seconds, or again, it can always be more people watch 3 seconds than 10 seconds, but if you see only 10 people watched 10 seconds of it on one video, and you got 125 people who watched a lot of your video on another video, you may want to do more of the more popular video. And again, our analytics, the bottom chart shows engagement. And so again, you kind of build, this was what's called, if you look at the little spikes, each one of those spikes is a day I went live onto Facebook Live. And so then you'll see it kind of drops off after that, and then it picks up during the week, or kind of slows down during the week, and then again pops up on a Tuesday morning, and then we start growing. And this one here, the last one, is one with Scott McCain, because he brought an audience along with my audience. And again, so here is what I'm offering. If you'd like to get better on camera, be more comfortable on camera, I'm offering a free on-camera playbook. What you need to do is add your email address into the private message to me, and I will send that out to you. It's a nice little platform that kind of gets you more comfortable. Again, most people feel more comfortable being behind the camera, posting images, posting text, but what gets most engagement is video, and even more live video. So again, please subscribe and follow me. Again, as I mentioned, BSVP TV across all platforms. So if you're on any of those platforms, definitely please subscribe. And that ends the presentation portion. If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks.
Hey, Bruce, I put this in the chat, but I'll ask you, is one live platform better than the other?
Yes. But no, actually, it really depends on where is your community. I'm building my community on YouTube, but with the fact that Facebook has a more shareable algorithm, then I get more engagement on Facebook. And actually, in truth, I get the most engagement on LinkedIn, because the content I post on LinkedIn is not filtered through all of those same algorithms as Facebook and YouTube. So again, where is your community? I know, with getting back to Scott McCain, who is real popular on Facebook, also posts his lives to YouTube. His Facebook live will get maybe what, 100 to 150 and sometimes even 500 views, where his YouTube post of the exact same content gets maybe 50. So it's really where you're sending your audience and where your audience organically has accumulated. So if you're on Instagram doing Instagram Live, you're going to, on a constant basis, you're going to get a more active community there. And which is why it's nice to cross-pollinate your platforms with different content. So you don't post the exact same content on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Post the bulk of your content on YouTube, which it has a longer life shelf, and then maybe a teaser on Facebook, which is actually what Instagram is doing. When you do an Instagram post, what will happen is it will run 15 seconds on Instagram. After that, if it runs longer than that, it sends you to Instagram TV, IGTV, for the longer content. So the long answer is yes and no. It's where your community is. And you've got to discover where your community is and where you decide you want to plant your flag to build your community.
Right. I didn't know there was a LinkedIn Live, but obviously you mentioned TikTok before, and I guess it's the different age groups, you know, TikTok versus Instagram, more the younger generation, and then Facebook, you're getting more of the older generation, and LinkedIn, you're getting more of the business community.
Right. Well, if you're selling shoes, New Balance in Highland Park, I would definitely recommend they be on TikTok, because that's where your audience is going to be. They're the people who are buying the high-end gym shoes.
Oh.
It's not necessarily, I'm not going out there to buy the $150 shoe. where my nephew, who's just turned 21, he'd be there in a second.
Okay.
What are the advantages or disadvantages of going live versus pre-recorded?
Well, live is live. There's no takebacks. Although what you can do is you can limit your lives, especially when you get started on Facebook. If you go Facebook Live, you'll look in the beginning. It will actually say everyone. You can choose specific people. You can exclude specific people, or you can do it privately. And my one thing is that the first 10, 15 times you go live, it's not going to be good. So what you can do is if you go live, you get an audience of 3, which is what, you, your wife, and your partner. Delete it. You can actually delete your Facebook Live either immediately after or shortly after you go live. So if you again, that actually creates immediacy, exclusive content. Join me live at this specific time on this specific day, or you don't get it at all. And so you can do is, again, practice. Practice makes perfect, or actually perfect practice makes perfect. So going live is like this. If you make a mistake, if you have too many ums in your presentation, they're all going to be there. Although with a live audience, they're going to be more forgiving, and they're not really going to be seeing that as much.
I think too, if you're going, even when you're going live, to have, if not a script, some notes, something, you know, do a dry run before you turn the camera on. I watched a lot of tutorials lately, and the people giving the tutorial seem to be doing it off the cuff, and you can tell it's much harder to pay attention to something like that when they keep going back and forth about what they're doing and hemming and hawing. It's much, you know, just because it's live doesn't mean it has to be unrehearsed.
I definitely agree with that. And something like that is probably, you can even better. What some of these platforms are launching is called Preview, where you can actually take a pre-recorded video and actually show it live. But what you need to make sure is that you do tell them that it is pre-recorded, or else they will flag you.
And then Lexi, you had a question that maybe you could elaborate on a little bit.
Yes. So Bruce, when you're going live and you're just saying, hey, I'm in an ideal moment, I'm going to go live. That's one way to go live. But if you're doing something such as you mentioned, where you're interviewing, you were interviewing, I think, on behalf of the chamber at one of their events, some of the vendors or people who were displaying there. So that's something that you knew you were going to be doing. Did you create an event around that in Facebook to get people, flag people's attention to tune in at that time for this live interview?
I did not create at that time. I don't think Facebook had events, but what I did do was I did post it. I shared it across all my platforms saying that we were going to be covering this expo live. And then I also had the event host share it out as well. And so it really depends on your audience. If you've got a large community, they're going to tune in. Again, one of the things I always ask people to do is subscribe and turn notifications on. So you can actually have notifications, and that's really important for your followings, is when you do go live, they notify you instantly. It's like, okay, BSVP TV just went live. And then it just pops up on your phone. You have the option of dropping everything you're doing and joining that live, or else waiting for a time when you do have a time to watch it in replay. But yeah, definitely, you do want to promote it ahead of time. Especially whether it's a small event, a big event, or even sometimes if it's on the spur of the moment, at least say, okay, I'm going live in 30 minutes. That way, people who are online who can see that post will then at least know they can tune in at that time.
Denise asked, any tips for cracking algorithms?
Don't crack an algorithm, play with it. You don't want to be a black hat at any of these platforms because you will get flagged. You want to play within the terms of service. The biggest algorithm, live video is actually being promoted through Facebook more than a single post, because even though you may have, let's say, 500 or 1,000 friends, or even 1,000 people following your business page, they're not all going to be notified unless they're interacting with you on a regular basis. If you look at Facebook stories, whenever you open up a story, the stories you watch most often will show up in the first 5 or 10 slots. And then after that, the rest of the stories will show. I can actually share this real quick. Let me see. So again, you don't really want to, you don't want to be black hat, you want to work within the system. Let me share this real quick to show you what stories, because I get a lot of stories coming in on my feed. When you open up Instagram, this is what shows up. The first thing is the plus sign is to add your story. And then these are the people I've been following. So this Perfect Pizza Crust, Jen Gittimer, who is the wife of Jeffrey Gittimer. And here is Instagram, Subi Zimmerman. So if you click here, so that goes through her 15 seconds. And it actually goes through each post. You can actually respond to these. If you look at the bottom right, that little airplane, you can actually click on that and actually share this to someone in your, let's say you want to share this to Sue. So I can send that. So I've just shared that to someone else. And then here's an ad, and then Jen, and so on. So again, going through your, and then you can send these people messages here, like, hi, great post. And send. And that's where you interact with these people. So again, if you scroll through these are all Instagram stories of all the people I'm following. So you can see how, and then at the end of the list are the Instagram stories you've already seen. So if there's something that you missed and you want to go back to, you can actually go back to. So here's Let Us Entertain You posting on theirs. And again, they're tagging Mon Ami, and they're tagging a bar restaurant, and so on. 90% of people just lurk. They just watch the content and then just go on to the next one. 9% of people usually share the content or engage with the content. And that's where you want to be, is you want to be a sharer, you want to be engager. Because even if they're not buying from you, even if they're not following you, if you show that you care about their content, they're going to investigate your content back. And then 1% are creators. Those are the people who actually post on a regular basis. Those are the people who get the known, like, and trust.
Denise, I have a question for you. Are you camping anywhere exciting?
This remote work works out really well.
And that's also something really nice about, you can actually go live anywhere. All you need is your phone. Actually, the one live I did with Sue Monheit, I was in between 2 appointments and couldn't get back to my office between them. And so what I did was I actually went live from the parking lot of Old Orchard. And so I put my laptop on top of my car and just stood there in the middle of the parking lot, and we streamed live. I actually hooked up my phone as a hotspot. And again, what used to take hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars to do just 25 years ago, you can do with your phone. You pretty much had to be an NBC, a CBS, a WGN TV to get an audience. And now all you need is a phone and a following. And once you connect with a few people, get them to share your content. So if you're creating value, they're going to share that content. and you're going to grow your audience.
Bruce, I want to know if you agree with this or not. So when Scott said, I'm picking on you, Scott. Bruce said you were going to pick on people. So I guess that's my turn to pick on people because you haven't picked on anybody yet. So Scott, you mentioned that each platform based on age groups. And I shook my head no, because in what the data that I've read on social media, it's not necessarily how we classify it based on our layman's understanding, and that the platforms transcend more age groups than perhaps we sort of sectionalize it to be with the Gen Z or the millennials or whatever, or baby boomers. So I think to what Bruce is saying, instead of looking at it as to target age group, take a broader perspective of your demographic and then pick that platform to build your audience, and not be judgmental based on age. And then further to what, and I want to know if you agree with that, Bruce, and I hope you do, because if you don't, well, you just shot my theory. And then the other is be sure to, if you're going to pick some place for Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, as Bruce says, put it on your email signature, put it on your website, make sure people know that you're on there, which just furthers what Bruce is saying about building an audience.
I do agree.
Okay.
If you look at if you remember that one analytics slide, I actually have people looking at my Facebook page from 13 to 90 plus, but the largest audience is in my 25 to 35 age range, and mostly male. So if I'm creating content, then I'm going to probably target men between 25 and 35 more so than 13-year-olds, especially since I'm a B2B company. So I'm not really going to be targeting teens. So but again, as real estate, you're going to want to target an audience 25 plus. And again, although not many people over 85 are looking for a new home, they're looking maybe to sell their home and move out, but they're not really looking to buy a home. So if you really want to get active, you start hitting all of those people who hit 65 plus, who are ready to retire and move out and move into maybe assisted living. And so they're just selling their homes.
Well, you know, when this whole social media thing came about, you know, there came so many of them, and it's like, okay, you have to pick and choose really what's important. You know, Snapchat, you know, I was on for 2 seconds. TikTok, I don't think I'd ever be there. You know, there are just probably more than 100 different social media platforms, and you'd probably have to hire somebody full time to manage all of them. So I picked out the, I picked out the main ones. You know, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I did go to a seminar. Some 30-year-old said, no, that's wrong. You have to be on Snapchat and YouTube and something else. So it's just you know, managing it all, not only your capabilities, but also, like you said, your target market.
Again, I would agree with that. So then when you choose your target market, it doesn't hurt to have a presence on all those platforms, so that, let's say someone's driving past a house that's really interesting, and you've got your Baird and Warner sign out in front, and they're on TikTok and it says, this is a great house. And then they go to tag you and you're not on the platform and they can't tag you. So by being on the platform, you're opening it up for your audience to find you. So again, it's better to be on a platform and be more of a lurker, although I will not follow anybody who has not posted. Just like the same thing is, would you subscribe to a newspaper that never came out? So if they publish one issue and never publish another issue, there'd be no reason to subscribe to it because there's nothing in the future. People subscribe to your channel, to your YouTube channel, to your Facebook channel. They follow you on Instagram for future content. Because the only reason to follow you is to see what you're doing in the future.
Right. And if it becomes stale, you're going to lose followers.
So actually, we didn't really have a chance to have anybody introduce themselves. We have a few more minutes here. Please go around the room, introduce yourselves, and what industry are you in?
Yeah, we can do that. Thank you, Bruce. Do you want to, Michael, do you want to call on people so it sort of stays, you know?
Carolyn, you're immediately to the right of Bruce.
I am, because I'm on top here, but that's okay. Marilyn Brasul, I'm with the VD Companies. I'm one of the executive assistants there, and I've kind of taken over our social media efforts recently. So I thought this would be a good starting point, because we really haven't done anything with, especially the video aspect or anything live. It's kind of out of our comfort zone. So, yeah.
And Denise.
Hi, I'm Denise Bryant. I'm the Director of Marketing at First Bank of Highland Park. We do have several social media platforms. We don't use them all. I just posted in the comments. Some of them we claimed to mitigate reputation risk so that nobody else claims it from underneath us. And I have a team of people that contribute to our social media. We're a little bit standoffish with social media because our compliance officers are not fully on board with social media. So that's my hurdle. And I like to get on different webinars and get tips and tricks from everybody else so that I can convince our compliance people.
Scott, your little handle says it all, but you can still go ahead.
I'm Scott Rose with Baird & Warner out of the Highland Park office. I serve the North Shore in Lake County. I'm forced to use social media, so trying to get good at it, but I'm getting up there in years, so you know, it's like a fire hose, just trying to manage it all.
Lexi.
Lexi Markarian, Director of New Business Development at Street Level Studio. We are an integrated full-service marketing company doing everything from strategy, design, to technology, including digital.
Matt.
Hi, Matt Sobchak. I'm the Director of Operations at Ravinia Reading Center. My wife, Holly Shapiro, is the brains of the operation. I'm here for support and to figure out how to get more of our traction on things like social media. We do well. We've done well, gotten clients through the Facebook page, and you know, just looking to make sure that I stay on top of what's latest. I also Holly's not very comfortable in front of a camera, so some of the ideas of doing practice runs, scripting things would be great. We had a video made for us about 3 years ago that's still relevant, but you know, it can't be posting the same video every 6-8 months. I think we've got to get some new stuff going on. So there's been a lot of good stuff. I've heard a lot of good things today, so thanks.
I'm glad. In the comments, we have one from Victor. He says he does not have a microphone or video attached to his desktop computer, but Victor Alvera from Salon Lofts. Thanks for joining us, Victor.
Right. Victor is right downstairs from us in the group of salons.
Karen. Hello.
Sorry, rushing to my unmute. I am Karen Warner. I'm the Director of Communications for Township High School District 113, and we have several platforms running. I joined today just to see if I can scoop up some new ideas, and we have a lot going on with the back to school. So just round the clock busy right now.
Oh my gosh, yes, you must be. I mean, I see some of the postings. You must be just swamped right now.
Have been for months, yes. Yeah. It's been a long 6 months. But nice to meet everybody.
Thanks for joining.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. And remember, we have the 3-part series, so our next one will be on August 12th. Same time, same place.
Yep.
You'll have to register again, but you can do that. It'll be posted on our website.
And I just want to add that if you are interested in sponsoring one of our upcoming series, please get in contact with the chamber. We'll give you all the details. So
Or if you have other ideas for content for these
yes, yes,
meetings and
absolutely.
webinars, love to hear. Always looking for ideas.
Bruce, thank you so much. This was very valuable, and we'll look forward to our next session with you.
And if you got any anything out of it, post little snippets, any sort of sound bites, post us on social media, tag us, and we'll definitely tag you back.
Thanks,
All
all.
right.
Will do. Thanks, Bruce.
Great.